Morning scroll hit different in 2025. The first sign came from a Facebook post by Lil KSoo's mother, where she said they had finally caught the people responsible for her son's death. After months of speculation and IG lives getting played in slow-mo like crime tapes, Fullychop and Lil Speedy were officially in custody. This is the story of how Fullychop and Lil Speedy got arrested for the murder of KSoo. Fully folded, Speedy snatched. The first to get snatched was Fullychop. Police picked him up on the south side of Chicago on July 14th.
Got to be more careful. Got my Taeskii. Got my Taeskii. Got to be more careful. Got my Taeskii. Let me stop.
What looked like a routine traffic stop quickly spiraled. Expired tags, suspended license, and then boom, a pending murder warrant for the December 2024 15-year-old rapper KSoo. They didn't need to chase him. His face was already in the system, and he was moving loose. 2 days later, they locked up Lil Speedy, also known as Bloodhound Speedy, outside of Walgreens on 76th. According to someone on Reddit, Lil Speedy his own for no reason. The net reacted in waves. Within hours, YouTube also exploded with everyone
talking about for no reason. Shit, it's a reason for everything.
Talking about how KSoo was backdoored. The old Instagram lives started getting reposted too, especially the one where Chop looked zoned out.
See, you know I can't show it too long. You know, you said what? That's Luda. Yeah, you know that. Come on, but hey. Come out. Hey, I'm so grateful. Hey, call my phone, bro. You said what?
And this shit is entertaining. I'm not gonna lie. Shit, what you want me to say? It's not? The hell?
Hey, I'm so. These weren't two random names arrested for what went down. They were in KSoo's circle. People called it the fastest snake turn they have ever seen. Speedy was KSoo's homie. Chop was on his track. This wasn't an op beef. This was betrayal. So when word hit that the Cook County Sheriff's Office had them both in intake, the streets didn't know whether to celebrate or cry. KSoo had been shot in the head inside his home on December 3rd, 2024. It was early morning, and according to his cousin, he was still mid-game, headset on, logged into GTARP. Back then, the cops—
Time out. Did you see that?
—had found a phone left behind at the scene, rumored to belong to Lil Speedy. But without cooperation, the case stayed cold until the mom's post cracked it open.
Lil KSoo's mom is still grieving and talks about her son getting backdoored by his friends.
That hurt. Took my only boy from me.
Damn, that was her only child.
My baby, my mini me.
And I'm the baby.
House.
Literally, I'm the youngest.
No, he see it coming at all. They did that, man. That's the cowardest move in the world.
She knew. On July 15th, 2025, several sources started spreading the news that the victim's mother had something about the arrest.
Right.
KSoo's mother took to Facebook.
How she know all this shit though? If motherfuckers ain't telling her, I'm pretty sure people telling her.
Claiming that Fullychop, Bloodhound Lil Speedy, and maybe even more people were tied to her son's. In the comments, she clarified that Speedy had been picked up on a charge, not the murder itself, but made it clear the two were connected. The post didn't stay quiet for long. It picked up steam fast, with people reposting it, debating the details, and saying the backdoor rumors were finally turning real. A post on Reddit broke down timestamps from a fat-drenched live, showing KSoo might have been by 8:11 a.m., way before police even got the 911 call. People have also been saying Speedy's comments after the raised eyebrows, especially when he posted.
So you telling me they just had his body just sitting there dead and ain't nobody say nothing? That's some cold-blooded shh.
King Slime active just hours after the news broke, which many felt didn't come off as grief. The main theory now is self-snitching. Key pieces of evidence being passed around include recovered shell casings, an abandoned phone allegedly tied to Lil Speedy, and clips from social media that users claim amount to self-incrimination. A Reddit post—
Got to be more fucking careful, rookie—
claimed it had proof of the pointing to the phone as Speedy's. Meanwhile, Fullychop was accused of saying too much on a live stream, allegedly admitting he had KSoo's location before the hit. Some people started questioning whether they were pressured by other cliques or if jealousy
Y'all
played
do
a
this to
role.
yourself,
KSoo had
bro.
been gaining more traction online, and
Right.
his single Caught Up was hitting views faster than Fullychop's drops. But the deeper narrative was about loyalty gone sour. It's the betrayal that hit hardest, not just the body drop, but the fact that the same voices who hyped KSoo's music, who said we all gon' make it, were now sitting in lockup, booked for making sure he didn't. And just like that, it wasn't just a tragedy anymore. It was a storyline. Streamed, clipped, analyzed, broken down bar for bar, like a drill tape flipped in reverse. By the time court dates dropped, the net might have already decided the verdict. KSoo ain't make it past the loading screen. They say the streets don't love nobody. But even by drill standards, what happened to Lil KSoo felt personal. December 3rd, 2024, started quiet. No ops posted,
talk to me.
no diss tracks uploaded. Just a 15-year-old boy at home, controller in hand, headset on, zoning out like any other morning. Except by 11:30 a.m., Lil KSoo was found slumped in his own crib with a to the head and what looked like a setup that had been in motion days before he even clicked start. Official reports clock his time of
gang. That shit's spooky.
Around early morning, but word from inside said something darker. Fat Drench, a known associate, said on live stream that KSoo was gone before 8. That would mean someone was in the house hours before his mom walked in and found him lifeless. It wasn't random, it wasn't sloppy. Whoever did it got in, did what they came to do, and dipped fast. Shell casings were found both inside and outside the house.
Why was it shell cases outside the house? Who the fuck was blowing back? His homies?
That had detectives thinking it might have been a but others started whispering something else. A staged entry. A quick pop-off at the door to make it look messy, then the real work done once inside. No forced entry, no signs of struggle, and somehow, a phone got left behind. A phone that allegedly belonged to bloodhound Lil Speedy. At first, Speedy said he just forgot it. People suspected that he went back into the house to take the phone and then used the opportunity to KSoo. Speedy also claimed he'd been over at KSoo's house the day before. KSoo was his boy, but the timing didn't add up, especially since 2 nights before the murder, an IG story had been floating around showing red lasers beaming through KSoo's window. That same clip got taken down, but screenshots
they was sitting outside his crib ducking, waiting on him. That shit, wow.
Spread fast. It wasn't regular trolling. Those beams were attached to automatics. Some people think that was the warning. Others think that was them rehearsing the real thing. The IG clip dropped from an account tied to Fully Switch, an affiliate of Fullychop. That detail hit different once people started connecting names. Chop, Speedy, both inside KSoo's circle, both acting normal in the days leading up. Then suddenly KSoo's and one of their phones is sitting on his floor. Another wild detail, KSoo was still logged into his game when his body was found. That had folks speculating that he was mid-session, headset on, probably locked in with somebody online while the
or they killed him and made and propped him up like that.
Moved through the crib. No barking dog, no fight, just silence. Until it wasn't. The theory that caught the most traction said Speedy showed up, acting regular. Maybe asked to charge his phone. Maybe just kicked it, watching KSoo play. Then when the timing felt right, when KSoo was fully distracted, somebody else came through the door, the back door, literally. Reddit threads from that day said Speedy may have unlocked it himself, and the reason? Street Talk said there'd been tension for a while. Speedy felt like KSoo was picking sides, especially after a different incident where KSoo got taken. That moment apparently cracked their trust. No one said it out loud, but a few folks started treating Speedy different after that, as if he was plotting.
So who y'all believe? Oh no, folks.
A video was even posted online about it.
I don't know who you talking to. All I know is you're gonna kill your ass. Oh my dad gonna kill your ass.
Oh my dad gonna knock your gun back.
I'm gonna kill your ass.
My dad gonna knock your gun back.
Who?
You.
Alright, we gonna see.
Alright.
All my dad.
So when KSoo let him in that day, nobody expected it to be his last act of trust. Fat Drench's timeline backed it up. He was adamant KSoo by sunrise, but the cops weren't called till nearly noon. That window raised all kinds of eyebrows. Did Speedy flee alone? Was Chop watching the house from outside? Did someone let time pass so they could cover their tracks? By the time the body was found, the house was quiet. No signs of forced entry, just silence. The game still on, and one phone blinking on the floor. Knew what room to walk into. They didn't ransack the place. They didn't leave trailing out the door. They came in for KSoo, and only KSoo. A clean job, too clean for random. Later that day, Chop posted online, talking about KSoo's Folks read that as distance, like he was saying he wasn't involved, but nobody
Right.
missed the timing. He didn't post that the day before. He waited till the body dropped. The same night, another clip started moving around showing Speedy on live with a smirk, saying King Slime active. That phrase alone had people accusing him of dancing on the grave. And if there was any remaining doubt, that phone changed everything. Law enforcement didn't say much, but word spread that it had messages, deleted ones,
Niggas out here fake beefing so they won't get caught up. Sound kind of smart to me.
half-saved ones, that hinted KSoo had been talking to someone he trusted, a friend, possibly Speedy, about who might be plotting, about whether he needed to move different. Now, no official paperwork confirmed what those texts said, but in drill circles, that didn't matter. The moment the details dropped, people started calling it what it looked like, a setup. KSoo didn't get caught lacking. He got handed over. What made it worse was the age. KSoo was only 15, Fullychop around 16. Speedy, maybe younger. They were all supposed to be homies. They'd made tracks together, shared stages, smiled in flicks, and then one dies with a in his dome, while the other two get booked less than a year later. It's not the first time Chicago lost a young talent to the cycle, but this one hit different. There wasn't a car chase, no outside a show, just a cold body in a house, and no signs of struggle. The kind of thing that doesn't come from beef, it comes from betrayal. That's why the drill scene hasn't stopped talking since. From tracks to tragedy, before any headlines, before arrests, before the city started whispering about a setup, there was just a group of teenagers trying to get on through drill.
Right.
Lil KSoo, Fullychop, and Bloodhound Lil Speedy were more than just names. They were supposed to be the new wave, until the wave crashed. Lil KSoo was born around 2009 or 2010 and came up out of Englewood, repping 079. He wasn't even old enough to drive, but his voice already had weight in the underground. His tracks, mostly passed around on TikTok and SoundCloud, felt raw. They didn't have polish, but that was the point. He was a kid speaking on survival, dirt, and dreams without needing a filter. He linked up with other rappers, releasing songs that were meant to be about escaping the life they were surrounded by. There was something about KSoo that had folks rooting for him. He
Right.
sounded young, looked even younger, but still had people double taking when he rapped lines grown men wouldn't dare post. He dropped another track called Caught Up with Lil Ty 66. It made rounds online mostly for how off it felt. People said the content didn't match the voice, like hearing a baby rap about bodies. But that disconnect was exactly why he stood out. It was clear KSoo wasn't faking his content. He was just caught between youth and the streets.
Right.
And drill gave him a way to say it all. He didn't have a long catalog. Not enough time. But what he dropped made its mark. He wasn't running streams like mainstream artists, but people tapped in. Views hit the low thousands. The songs bounced through group chats, op pages, burner accounts. It was drill the way it used to be. Local, raw, personal. Behind the mic, KSoo was loyal to his circle. He was close with Speedy. He
Take
used to roll
KSoo.
with Chop. They weren't just
Who the fuck is
collaborators.
KSoo?
They were part of the same ecosystem, same age range, same streets, same block tension, until something shifted. By the time he in December 2024, rumors were already moving fast that something went sideways between the three. KSoo wasn't some random act of violence. It came after whispers of betrayal, after distance formed between him and people he once called fam. Whether it was over old beef, ego, or some invisible line that got crossed, something broke. Then there was Fullychop, born Dameron, Wales in 2008. He was the older one in the trio by about a year or two. He came out of the South Side like a battering ram. Aggressive voice, quick delivery, and drill credentials that caught attention. Chop didn't just rap about the trenches, he documented them. He wasn't hiding who he was.
Right.
On tracks like Fully Burst, None, and Say Goodbye, Chop stayed talking heavy. Street pressure, fake homies, it was all there. One moment he'd be dissing an op, the next he'd be mourning a lost one. It gave him a weird duality, one foot in revenge, the other in grief. His affiliation with PGF put him in multiple circles.
Right.
You'd see him with Baby Splat, Shorty Mob, Lil Scoom, all names familiar in the new drill resurgence. He repped Pocket Town heavy in some tracks. Other times he'd flash signs linked to more controversial sets. Either way, he wasn't neutral. His side was clear. What made Chop interesting was how fast he moved through the scene. One month, he'd be an underground name. The next, he's trending on Reels, dropping visuals with quality most kids his age couldn't touch. He had that push, the same push that made people think he'd go far or go too far. He and KSoo started together. They had chemistry.
They started together and one of them lost their life and the other one didn't. Only thing he lost was time.
Similar hunger, but somewhere between the booth and the block, things soured. By the time KSoo, people had already noticed the interaction stopped. Stop. Then Chop started dropping cryptic captions about pain and pressure, and people read into every word. Then you got Bloodhound Lil Speedy, the youngest in the pack. Born somewhere between 2009 and 2011, Speedy was barely a teenager and already deep in street politics. Tied to the Bloodhound set, known for its wild younger members, Speedy wasn't moving like a rookie. He was making songs with titles like Bounce Out with Drac and Quick 2 Chase, and the visuals? Flashing, cars spinning, and grins that didn't match the content. He was called a crash out by YouTubers. Kids in comments said he was the one always with it. If something jumped off, Speedy wasn't far. He didn't have a huge discography either, but he didn't need one. His rep moved faster than his streams. People watched his clips to see what he'd say next, not because he was lyrical, but because he was unpredictable. His Bloodhound connection brought him close to other figures like J Boogie and Lil Jeff. While older Bloodhound members were falling, Speedy was stepping in to carry the name. That kind of pressure on someone barely in high school don't come without a cost. What's striking about all three, KSoo, Chop, and Speedy, is that none of them hit 18. They were in that 14 to 17 bracket, too young for tattoos in most states, but already caught up in felonies, funerals, and fallout. This wasn't Drill's golden era anymore. This was the fallout generation. KSoo before he could release a full project. Chop was arrested in July 2025 for allegedly being part of the setup. Speedy got booked the same week, first for a gun, then quietly linked to KSoo's murder in the same breath. In a way, the trio's story wasn't about music. It was about what happens when kids play grown-up games in a world that don't forgive. People used to say they had potential. Some still play KSoo's tracks in tribute. Others feel Chop could have made it big if he stayed focused. Speedy's name gets mentioned when people talk about who went too far, too fast. They weren't just names in the headlines. They were once a circle, a group of kids trying to carve out a lane with mics and masks. But drill don't leave much room for forgiveness. The moment one fell, the others followed. In the end, it wasn't ops that took KSoo out. It was his own people. That's the real heartbreak. Mic'd up murder. In drill, the mic can be a weapon, and sometimes it talks too much. What once—
Oh, bro, why what the fuck y'all say incriminating lyrics and the thing, bro, and music? Yeah, you could say certain things, but don't hand out and say actually what it is. Like, motherfucker say, I shot Jerome. You shot Jerome.
started as a tool to vent, to brag, or to tell the other side we're still here, has now become a forensic breadcrumb trail. When Lil KSoo in December 2024, fans didn't just look at the crime scene, they hit rewind on every track, every diss, every freestyle. Drill listeners know, sometimes the story's already been told in the booth. Start with Lil KSoo himself. Before he left behind verses that sounded like war reports from someone too young to be in the field. In Caught Up, he raps, caught Lil Chris up on the 5, and then we filled him up with lead. I be walking down the 5 cause know I send a blitz. It's the kind of line that drill fans recognize as loaded. Walking down the 5 isn't just scenery, it's strategy. He names his turf, names a victim, and brags about orchestrating violence. He continues with, Lil bro wanna trade, but I'm gonna take his dumb ass for that ghost. I tote my pole, I'll slide through, I'm go blow. Translation, robbery, retaliation, and full-on aggression, told straight up by a 15-year-old who barely had time to finish a project before his life was cut short. Then came SRTJEEP, where things got eerily predictive. Lil Speedy, he hop out, he ready to blow. He fall to the ground, we give him some more. Whether it was fiction or foreshadowing, his own bars place Speedy in the heat of action. In hindsight, too close for comfort. Drill always has a foot in imagination, but after December, those lines hit different. What once sounded like a regular name drop now plays like a screenshot from a setup, but no one took things as far as Fullychop. If Lil KSoo hinted at war, Chop recited the victory lap. His post-KSoo tracks, especially the ones from 2025, didn't just throw shade, they dragged the body. KSoo, but now they hurt. His head, that mission complete, made it work sounded less like a diss and more like an admission. When
Man, they all, look. Brr, brr, brr.
he raps, we took his kit, that was free. Fans tied that line back to the rumors that Chop and KSoo fell out over a— That kit wasn't just a prop, it was motive. The disrespect didn't stop there. In Tacos, Chop doubled down with, I drink Lil KSoo. He ain't got no face though. He dissed
I drink Lil KSoo.
on Lil 50, got in his face. There's drill talk, and then there's forensic level specificity. KSoo died from a— No face wasn't just metaphor, it was practically casework. Add in catching bodies, that shit's slight, and it paints a picture not just of violence, but comfort in it. These were layered references, all language that fans, bloggers, and even investigators now treat as possible lyrical maps to the crime itself. Not one track, not two, a pattern. Chop seemed to be making music not just to move the streets, but to dance around the truth. Then there's Bloodhound Lil Speedy, the most chaotic, but also the most cryptic. Unlike Chop, he didn't name names, but his catalog still breathes heavy. I went up 3 souls and just a teen reaper. On my back had people counting bodies. 2 ops in the same week back-to-back caught attention fast. KSoo's was followed by others in his circle, and drill fans love to play detective. Now roll him up, cause he a pack, got shot 10 times, no coming back. These aren't punchlines, they're case files, verbal ones.
These case files.
Whether Speedy meant them literally or not, the bravado dripped with confession-like energy. In 79 ERS, Speedy dropped, "Free hottie could be free, the snitching. He couldn't keep it street." That line doesn't point to the KSoo case, but it sets the rules. If you talk, you're finished. Yet if prosecutors ever circle back to these lyrics, Speedy might end up labeled a hypocrite. Taken together, these 3 catalogs don't just reflect drill culture, they map out a tragedy in real time. KSoo's foreshadowing, Chop's posthumous taunts, Speedy's ruthless numbers game. Whether they meant to snitch on themselves or just couldn't help but speak on what they saw, the music tells a story no court transcript has yet. They
Man, stop saying dumb shit in y'all songs. Simple.